Hey everyone, welcome back to my online diary. My name is Reba. If you're new here, hello, welcome. And if you're not new, well, hello, it's good to see ya. So, today we're going to be talking about rheumatoid arthritis and what is rheumatoid arthritis. So, if you don't know what rheumatoid arthritis is, it is a autoimmune disease that attacks healthy tissues in the body, and it targets mostly the joints, but in serious cases RA does affect the internal organs. But with me, I just have joint problems, and it can affect any joint in the body. About 8 years ago, when I was 18, I was having symptoms of RA and lupus. Lupus and RA is not the same. Lupus mostly affects the skin, and it can affect the hair, the internal organs, or the joints, but RA just affects the joints mainly. So around the time being first diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, a year before, because it took them a year to diagnose me, I was having a lot of problems with, let me set this mic down, a lot of problems with stiffness. Like when I would wake up in the morning, my fingers would be like so stiff, and like say if I was like, I don't know, laying down like this, I would wake up and my fingers would be like this. They will be stuck together, and it will take a few minutes for me to open them up because it was so painful and just very stiff. That's just one of the things that comes with living with rheumatoid arthritis. Next problem I had a problem with brushing my teeth because I had problems with the joints in my fingers, but also my wrist. My wrist would, pop and make funny sounds, and also it would also swell up. So that was a big challenge for me. Being a teenager and going through something like that is like pretty devastating because you just don't expect that to happen to you. Like, oh my gosh, I can't brush my teeth, you know what I mean? And it was hard for me to put my hair up and do my hair, and it was hard to open things like the refrigerator or a bottle of water. I couldn't turn the water because, again, my wrist was swollen and it was just so much joint pain in my wrist. I actually forgot that I had rheumatoid arthritis because it's been in remission for 6 years until now. Recently, it just came back out of nowhere. It really sucks, but I've been having issues with getting up out of the bed and just being like very stiff, and it'll take me a few moments to like move because of the stiffness, but I'm hoping that'll go away soon. I started a new medication. I'll put it right here. My doctor took me off of Plaquenil. I've been on Plaquenil for many years, but she has taken me off of it because Plaquenil makes psoriasis worse. If you don't know, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I have psoriasis. I have plaque psoriasis, and I have inverse psoriasis. So I have noticed a change. Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to take days though before I notice a big difference, but I have noticed a little small change since I've been off of Plaquenil. It seemed like my skin is like healing better, and my psoriasis looks a lot better. I'll show you in a minute. yeah, I started this new medication because of the stiffness. Also, I had stiffness in my elbow. Like, I couldn't straighten out my elbow all the way. Now I can, but it was really hard for me to straighten it out. And then it was like very, very stiff and painful. And my knees, for example, they just hurt. And they're both my knees. So when I stand up, I can't straighten them out all the way. Because not just because of the pain, but just because of, I don't know, like the stiffness. I think it might be swollen a little bit, but swelling did go down. I had swelling in my ankle. I'll insert a picture here. My ankle was very swollen. My whole foot was swelling, actually. And that was causing me pain and stiffness in my ankles. So rheumatoid arthritis is one of those conditions that can really leave you feeling crippled in a way. Experiencing lupus symptoms and experiencing RA was very devastating to me, because I went from being able to do everything completely normal and by myself to be able to not do anything, and always receiving help from family or my mom. Like, I couldn't bathe myself, I couldn't wash my hair. It was really hard being 18, experiencing those things, and you can't do anything by yourself anymore. So that was a very big challenge for me. I also felt very alone, because nobody around me had what I was going through. Nobody my age had what I was going through. So that was really hard. And oftentimes I felt left behind in a way, because I was looking at people, I was comparing myself to other people when I was in my 18 years. When I was in my teen years, when I was 18, 19, I was comparing myself to other relatives or other friends like me. I was like, how come this person is, ahead in life and I'm just stuck? Like, why me? Like, I'm stuck. And felt so alone and just like left behind, I just felt behind in life and accomplishing like goals. And I wanted to go to school, and I had to been put on hold because I had this very debilitating illness, 2 of them at the time, and now I got like 8. But it can be very lonely in a way, especially when you're young. Well, it can be lonely at any age, I guess. But me personally experiencing that at such a young age and not having nobody around to talk to about my illnesses, it made me feel very alone and just lost in a way. But now that I'm older, I'm 28 years old, I know that there's a whole community of people that have rheumatoid arthritis and lupus, and secondary Sjogren's, and anxiety and depression. And yeah, it sucks to have all those things, but to actually know that you're not alone, it makes it so much more manageable, because who wants to have an illness and then on top of that they feel so alone? Like, that sucks. My body switched up on me, and so I couldn't do things that I used to could do. Simple things like brushing your teeth, doing your own hair, open a water bottle, or making yourself food. And with the lupus, I couldn't be out in the sun all day, so that means like, oh man, I can't really go to the beach that much. But without your sunscreen, but I couldn't go to the beach that much, and I can't be out in the sun too long. And then with RA, And lupus affects your joints too. In RA, it really affects the joints for me. But it gave me a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression. That was something that was really hard for me to go through, and not being able to talk to someone that I can relate to, because there was no one around me that had that was my age, that was going through what I was going through. So it was a very difficult time for me. And so depression sucks. It can be your worst enemy if you let it get you down. But one thing that has helped me tremendously is that I always had a good support system, even though I didn't really have anyone to relate to talk to about what I was going through. But I always had a good support system. My mom was always there to talk to, even though she didn't have what I had. Voice cracked. Even though she didn't have what I had. But it's always good to have a good support system, to have people around you that really love you and that really care for you, friends, family. And so I'm happy that I know now that I'm not alone, and I have very close friends that give me love and support, and my family, most importantly, are very precious to me. They always been there for me, and they help lift me up when I was down, and so I thank you for that. And also my new community that I have built online on Instagram. I have a lupus community that I'm with, and they're really sweet and understanding, and it's good to have people like that in your life when you're going through so much, because if you have people around you that can relate to what you're going through, that's going to help manage your mental health better, if you know what I mean. It's going to help get you through the day better, because you're like, hey, let me hit up my friend Mary or Sam, whatever their name is. Let me see what they're doing today. Let me see how they're feeling. And they'll tell you how you're feeling, and then you give them back some of how you're feeling today. You tell them how you're feeling. And so that can really brighten your mood in a way, even though if it might seem a little negative to some people. If you're like, oh, I can't get out of bed. I couldn't get out of the bed today, so I just kind of laid there. And then they'll be like, oh, yeah, me too. I did the same thing. And then they'll start laughing. Because it's someone that you can relate to. But if you kind of say that to someone that doesn't have what you have, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry you're going through that. I mean, that's a bad thing, but not that that's a bad thing. So yeah, this is the end of the video, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you have RA, please comment down below your story. Share your story with me. And if you're struggling with it, I know it can be extremely difficult, but just know you're not alone, and there's a whole community out there that you can connect with and talk to and share your story with. You're not alone, okay? So I hope you guys have a good night, and